What is up? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Yep, we've got another 14 HomePods here today. The first one, we're gonna wrap up one from a few days ago that needed a new logic board. We were waiting to hear back from them, and then they were waiting to hear back from us. So, a bit of both ways. Let me get this other phone plugged in here. So we've got all our angles. And we'll go through what we've got to fix today. Oh boy, am I going to be able to plug this in without sticking my head back there? Oh geez. There it is. Yes. And now we are in business. All right. So we've got this one, and then let's see what we've got next. We have Paz back with no power. John, also with no power. There's another John, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, they have no power. We've got Adam with no power. And we've got Michael, no power. Rick, no power. Let's see. LV Alpesh. So we've got LV with 2, Alpesh with 2, both of those, all 4 of those with no power. And then we've got Nelson and RK with braked pods. And then Francis with a mystery. Ooh. I won't tell you guys what's wrong with that one until we get to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, 15. 15. I guess I have to change that stream title there. So, and then do I have all the names up there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? BR1. Paz back. RK. Nelson, Francis, Michael, John, LV. Oh, there's a PH here. There it is. There we go. I think that is everyone. Whew. I am going to need a drink for a stream like this. Let's get our bottle opener. Cheers. All right. Ooh, that. Oh, that hurt. Okay. We've already replaced their logic board with another one. At the very least, while they've been waiting for us to get this fixed, I have been testing it every day on the bench. I'll set it up, add it to my test home, play music to it for a while, power cycle it a few times, and then reset it and maybe re-add it a time or two more. It can be tricky to determine that a logic board is certainly good to use or reuse or has been fixed up. Even if it took a USB restore from like a blinking volume buttons issue or boot loops or what have you. Gotta really thoroughly test it out to make sure that it's not going to break itself again due to an underlying hardware issue that caused it its problems in the first place. So we already got the logic board replaced in this one because we already tried doing a USB restore to it, and unfortunately that didn't help. It didn't take it. It said, "I'm dead." So they opted for the full hardware repair, and that includes maintenance. So we take it apart, we get down to the amplifier board, and we replace the stuff that we see failing all the time, like that Schottky diode for no power, and those DC filters for death farts and all sorts of bass issues. The Schottky diode only fails if it's part of the bad batch of those diodes floating around out there. We know which date codes to look out for. And then those DC filters, since they're ceramic capacitors, they just naturally decay over time, whether they're being used or not. So they need to be replaced every once in a while to keep the death farts away and the bass nice and healthy. This is rubbing alcohol. We dripped it in there a few seconds ago to help pry this basket off the glue. Get you guys up close inside and get that power supply out. Ooh, let me pull up my traffic camera. I want to see what's going on. Dang, I missed it. Alright. We've got all those screws out. The amplifier has been liberated. Let's get up close. My zoom camera has a bit of a delay here. Let me fix that. Oh, I love that there's a button right there for it at least. Can't complain. One day I'll take this heat gun apart and replace the fan in it. Or just replace the thing altogether. But in the spirit, I would like to take it apart and find a replacement fan and keep it going. For the cheapest hot air rework station I could have found on Amazon at the time over 3 years ago, having hit thousands and thousands of HomePods, I think it's doing pretty good. I think I paid $60 for it. You just need something that gets up to like 450, 500 degrees Celsius. Some of the cheaper ones you might need to crank it all the way up to 500 if it's a generous rating that it's been giving it, that it's advertised. You know what I mean? Alright. Time for the new filters. Yeah, it's not like they stay exactly where I want them to every time. But there you go. They basically find their way. More often than not. Awesome. Now let's flip that around and see if that Schottky diode needs to be replaced. So you can see there it says 1742K, which means it was made in week 42 of the year 2017. Not the date codes that we see failing here, so that's good. That means that this is all done and we can put it back together and move on. I'm going to give that another second to cool, and we will shoot a link to our next repair so they've got plenty of notice to hop in. And there we go. All right. We've got the current repair at the top left, and right underneath that we've got who's up next underneath. I'm actually curious if anybody wouldn't mind telling me, can you guys even read the names on the screen there, or do I need to make some tweaks? Whenever I check from like my iPhone and my MacBook, it looks fine there, but I don't know what most people are watching my streams on. Actually, I can find out. Silly me. YouTube Studio shows me who watches from what. But yeah, from my live stream preview in YouTube, there's a big live counter that's blocking half the names in the top left corner. So I don't know if that's the same for other people or not. I guess I could find out that too. Let me just go here, open the link in a new incognito tab. Oh, of course it's going to pull up an ad. I don't block ads on YouTube because I pay for YouTube Premium. Okay, that's cool. So it looks pretty good. I can read all the names there. I can see my website. I can see my cameras. Cool, cool. I guess we're doing all right. Oh, there it is. Oh. Let me fix the volume buttons on this one really quick. We've got Steven on the way to pick their HomePod up. We already fixed this one. I've been testing it out, but I noticed that one of the volume buttons doesn't light up quite as evenly as the other. And that usually just means there's a shmoo covering one of them. So there we go. I just gotta get this stuck back on there and it's ready for him to pick up in a few minutes. Sleep, welcome back, man. Hope you're doing all right out there. Why do socks make my feet colder? That is, I'm not really sure. I would ask ChatGPT, see what they have to think about it. I need to learn how to write. Alright, that should boot right up to the setup. Let's see. Oh, I will be right back.
Thank you for your time. Stay safe.
All right. We're getting them through. Let's shoot a message to our next repair so they have time to join in. Let's see, we've got John after this. Let's get a link copied. It always takes like 2 or 3 times as long to text people the link than it does for me to just email it to them. I guess that's another reason I should just get a Mac Mini to replace my streaming desktop, because then I can just pull up iMessage and copy paste it there. Yeah. Alright. Message sent. Let's set them to the side onto our test bench and get ready for the next one here. Where's my mouse? We've got Paz back. That is the name that they requested to be shown as. I've started, I've always been asking people if they want theirs streamed under their first name or anonymously, but then I came up with the bright idea, why not give people the option for a little bit of free advertising? If they want, they can, I'll put them down under their whatever name they want. They want a business name? You got it. They want their website? They want a meme? You got it. Well, anyways, this looks like a run-of-the-mill no-power repair. One that we've seen here many times before. We've got no lights, no power, no nothing. We've got a couple of watts coming out of the wall. And I'm sure if we left it, it would probably get just a little warm on the side. Not that any of that really matters. We'll get it apart. We'll get it fixed. We'll get through this queue. Making sure we get under both layers of that display there. We don't want to take out their ambient light sensor. Get all that stuck back down so I don't have to deal with it when we put this back together. A little bit of rubbing alcohol to break down the glue that holds the speaker basket. Oh. Oof. All right. Here we are again. Let's knock out those filters before they knock out our subwoofer speaker. And then we'll flip this around and take care of that diode that's actually causing our no power problem. Let me do something else here. I want to copy these guys. There we go. I'm gonna need more beer for these, all these HomePods. I'm already 1 beer down and we're not even 2 HomePods in. Oh no. This is gonna be a stream, that's for sure. I got the Jim Beam back there if things get real wild. But I really don't want to break that stuff out. We'll save it for Francis's HomePod and whatever the heck's going on with that thing. I'll give you a little backstory. Francis's HomePod is the last one we'll be working on in this current queue. And they attempted their own repairs. They messed a few things up along the way, it seems, because when they got it back together, they got it to turn on, but they couldn't get it to set up without having weird issues. So we're gonna see if we can't rescue that for him. Goodness, I keep goofing it up as soon as I get it good, huh? You stay there. Let me grab my last one, and we can stick that down. Alright, we got those first 2. Let's get these bottom 2. Very nice. Alright, alright. Let's see what we've got for our diode 48K. Yes, that is the date code that we see failing and causing no power all the time. Get out of here. A little bit of fresh solder and flux to help this stuff flow into place. And here we go. That's that. I'll save you. Oh. Gonna make this better than factory with a new solid subwoofer gasket, solid rubber subwoofer gasket, to replace that old foam one. We podding out here every day, bro. It's every day. Welcome, welcome, by the way. Welcome back. It's one heck of a way to start the week, though. I don't know how these things always manage to pile up for Monday. Like I'm still recovering from the 14 that showed up last Monday. Not that it took us a while to get through them all. It's a lot of work to do in a day or two. I'm not complaining. It's like a little Christmas bonus / birthday present for me. I just gotta work for it. Yeah, this isn't just a case of the Mondays, this is more like a whole pallet. A whole pallet of the Mondays. Alright. Let's shoot our next repair a link to watch so they've got plenty of time to join in here. Oh yeah, per your excellent suggestion the other day, I've, for now at least, figured out that I could send a link to the next person one HomePod before I get to theirs. So they've got, 20-30 minutes before I actually get to theirs. And then I try to tell people, well, with 15 in one day, I don't know when I'm going to get to whose today or tomorrow, so that's a little trickier, but I can at least let them know 1 or 2 pods before I get to theirs. They've got a little time, a little bit of notice at least. But yes, that's right, we've got 2 Johns here. 2 Johns.
Tengo dificultades para conectar.
Oh yes.
Tengo dificultades.
That is certainly working. So let's put that to the side onto our test bench and get all set up for our next one here. All right. Let's see what we've got. No lights, no power, no nothing here. A couple of watts from the wall. That to me looks like the exact same deal as many of the others here. Let's go ahead and get that fixed up. What is up, Vincent? Vicente? I'm so sorry. I'm obviously awful at pronouncing names, so I apologize for butchering that, but is it possible to fix a Mini that just stopped turning on? They're hit or miss. I generally don't take a look at them here on my channel. They're pretty hit or miss. Half of them that I've looked at, surprisingly, even though they didn't light up at all when plugged into a power brick, they showed right up as recovery mode when I plugged it into a Mac, and they recovered without a problem. The other half, I haven't found a single repair for yet. A handful of others in my Discord server have found a few different faults themselves, however. You know, the random short here and there. Pretty typical no power stuff, if you ask me. It's interesting that the failure mode with the minis, when they're in, you know, they're not powering on and they take a recover or a software restore when plugged into a Mac. It's weird that they just don't power on at all. You think they would give some kind of status light like the OGs here do. They blink the volume buttons if they've got software issues. But the Mini, it's interesting that the Mini doesn't seem to do that a lot of the time. You could break the stream up into segments like A is HomePod 1 through 3. That would be nice if I knew how much time and how many HomePods I could get through before I have to call it quits. There's a lot of factors that go into how long I can stream, how many I can fix in a single sitting. And sometimes I even get the chance and the time to do a second stream, 2 streams in one day. Fancy that. I'll have one in my usual afternoon time, and then we'll have another one late at night. If I can get that kid to sleep and we've got stuff to fix, I'm usually here fixing. But if I had complete control over every aspect of everything, then yeah, absolutely, I would be doing these in like 3 to 5 HomePod sittings. I mean, if I had everything in my complete control, this would be my full-time job, and we wouldn't have to worry about how many we got through in a day. We just hang out all day and fix them. We chit-chat, help other people fix stuff. We could like do video calls and help other people fixing their own HomePods. All sorts of fun ideas that I've got as we have the time for it. But for here and now, the demand is fix my HomePod. So that's what we're doing. Do I have to have a Mac, or can I use a Hackintosh VM and still recover with USB pass-through? So the tools are supposed to, that software restore are supposed to work. If you're talking about the OG HomePod, they should work with Linux, and so in theory they could work in a Linux VM. But frankly, I would just do a bootable Linux USB instead, over trying to host a Linux VM inside of Windows. If you're talking about the Mini, I don't know about the Mini. And I'm curious if you can just plug the Mini via USB-C straight into a Windows machine and recover it with iTunes the same way. Alright. First up, our fart filters. Let me get myself another drink here. Cheers. Alright, here we go. So what is the common problem that I am fixing on these HomePods? The majority of these HomePods in today's queue is the same no power issue caused by a faulty diode on the amplifier board. And the only reason that diode fails and causes no power is because there was a bad batch of them made and used. So thereby replacing it with a new one will permanently fix that issue. What I also like to do before I replace that diode, as we're doing here on John's HomePod, we're actually looking at the other side of the amplifier board at the DC filters. They are ceramic capacitors that naturally decay and age over time, and that leads to basically death farts and all sorts of bass issues. So we used to not replace these filters unless they tested bad, but then eventually we started noticing even if they tested fine, they didn't last too much long after that. So we just decided to replace those filters whenever we've got the HomePod apart for some other repair anyways. Call it part of maintenance. Because the last thing the thing that I hate the most about HomePod repairs is getting a HomePod that I've already worked on back. I never want to see the same HomePod again unless it's being given or sold to me. And anything that we can catch and replace to prevent bigger, more expensive problems down the road, like death farts and roasting the bass speaker, I'll take the risk of replacing otherwise perfectly functioning parts right now. Generally, you don't want to just replace things if they're working just fine. It adds risk. It adds things that you can mess up and break, and it adds reasons for someone to point the finger at you if something goes wrong again in the future. But this is one of those these are one of those risks in particular that I'm willing to take because it outweighs the con of having to take a HomePod back for death farts after we fixed it for like no power, and we take it back and oh well, lo and behold, the subwoofer speaker also had a meltdown, so that puts everybody in a weird position. I fixed their power issue, but now it basically needs another $80 repair. Or I could prevent all of that and just roll it all into part of what you're already getting fixed while I've got it. So I'm really glad that I was able to figure out what was causing those death farts and what part to replace them with. And everyone else is certainly very thankful for it too. Not the easiest repair, but once you get the hang of it, it's not really something I'd recommend an amateur or somebody just learning how to solder to try for themselves. Don't pick up a hot air rework station for your first time and try those filters. Get some practice in first. But let me make it look easy. So here's that dead diode that failed and caused no power. At least that's where it was. I've already got a new one on here. Make sure that's really on there. And that's it. We can put this back together. Whew. That's a super. Gee, I guess I owe you something along the lines of smashing apart a key fob, huh? Sorry for not getting back to you in Discord, by the way. But I'm sure you understand. You can send you've got the right understanding though. You can send that key, I think you've got the one key fob and a replacement shell if I understood correctly. If you get your hands on one of those LED Christmas trees for me and send it in with your fob, I will get that fixed back up and sent back to you. I absolutely love to make good deals like that with people if it's the first time I've worked on something here on the channel. And I mean quite the opposite if somebody wants me to try to fix something that there's a million shops out there and a million videos already showing fixing, then I'm going to recommend you go to the shop that's already done a bunch of them. Don't send it to me for the first time. That said, you got something you can't find a shop to fix, I might be your guy. And if it's been the first time we'll have looked at what you've got, I'll make you a great deal on that repair. We'll help each other out. I get some interesting different content here on the channel. You get your stuff fixed. In the case of Smart Home Sellout here, we're we're talking about getting one of their, I think it's a Range Rover key fob. Northridge Fix has done a video on a similar one. Basically, you have to cut and or smash the key fob apart in order to replace the battery. So they're going to be sending us the original key fob along with a replacement shell, and then they also work for a company that does a whole bunch of cool smart home accessories, and they've got a very neat looking LED addressable like Christmas tree ornament. So yeah, feel free to plug the name of where you work in the chat there. I don't mind that at all if you want people to check you out. If I remember correctly, you worked in support though, so I imagine the more people that buy your stuff, the busier you'll get. So. My day job is at a software company, so I get excited with new customers, but I also can't help but, you know, think about the support nightmare that they entail with their particular workflow. Like, I'm working with a customer right now that's based in Singapore, and the time zone difference alone is absolutely killer. There's nothing like trying to relax on a Sunday and getting an email from work from Singapore because it's Monday morning their time. By the time I get into bed, they're well into their Monday morning trying to put fires out. Do I work at Innotech? I do not. I do not work at Innotech. I will not share the name of the company I work at. It's not a super big company. It's a local small / medium-sized software company that's been around for 15 or 20 years, I think. Roundabouts that. I joined them about 11, 12 years ago now. How can I join the Discord? I have a link at the top of my website, nixfix.com. You can also join by my invite code TRACK44. That's one word, and the 44 are numbers. So TRACK44. And then there's also a link to my Discord server at the top of my website, nixfix.com. Innotech is the name of the company from Office Space. Oh, screw me. I should have known you were trying to pull a funny on me. I guess I need to rewatch Office Space, because that's like one of my favorite movies. But it has actually been a long time since I've watched it. Oh, one thing that kind of stuck out to me about Office Space was like literally the opening scene where they're fighting with the printer, and he's like PC load letter. What does that mean? And to an IT guy, they know exactly what that means. Letter is the size of the printer paper, and it's basically just asking you to put paper in it. It's just the dumbest way to tell you. That was my interpretation, at least, of it. That's what I understood by that error message. Maybe I'm wrong. But letter immediately stuck out to me as the size of paper that's used. So load letter means probably load paper. Load the letter size paper. Maybe it's a fancy printer that is able to see what size of paper has been loaded into it, and if you're trying to print a document in a different page size, it will complain. So it'll report to your PC. So that's why it says PC load letter. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. Maybe I'm right. There we go. There we go, there we go. Let's shoot Adam a message so they've got time to join in. Adam has been messaged.
I'm having trouble connecting.
John
I'm having trouble connecting.
is alive and well. We'll put them on the bench, and we will grab the next John. Here we are, folks. And let's get our names fixed up on the screen there. Ah, perfect. Let's do a quick diagnosis here. Oh man. No lights, no power, no nothing, a couple of watts at the wall. If we left it for a while, it'd probably get warm right about here. I feel like I've gotten to the point with diagnosing HomePods issues to the same point that, like, there are certain songs and music that I can recognize literally within the first few beats. It's rather incredible how people can do that. I don't know how. Pattern recognition, obviously our brains are built for it, but it's still impressive that we can do that. But I feel like I've gotten to that point with HomePods, like I can plug it in, look at my kilowatt meter, and within like 2 to 3 seconds I can tell what's wrong with it and what needs to get fixed. What's wrong with me? Oh, yeah, no, that's a good point. I just don't have Discord open on my desktop ever. Let me fix that here. I really should be giving my Discord server more love. It's been a touch and go kind of thing for me. I put so much time and energy into my old community years ago, and it just kind of turned around and became so toxic that I didn't really want to put any more energy into it and focused on other things for a while. But you know, I just kind of let it figure itself out. You know, people can't the people aren't going to continue being toxic if they don't have any attention for it. So for the most part, that pretty much died down. You still get the random tumbleweeds, but they're a good guy. They're alright. They're actually from the old TeamSpeak days. I used to run a TeamSpeak server. And I remember drawing in Microsoft Paint a Subway sandwich for a guy. And he's one of those guys that's just been around the whole time. It's only when I started NixFix here like 3 years ago that it really had like a concrete purpose to exist. Prior to that, it was kind of just a personal community / hangout place that like me and anybody associated could come and, you know, shitpost. Let me see. Does it show that I'm streaming now? Set up a Discord bot. Yeah, I need to get back on my bot game too. I pay for a physical dedicated server with wholesale internet. I've got plenty of rack space and resource for Discord bots. I think I even still have my old Discord bots of VM like running. They've just changed so much since then that I'm sure it's a completely different game now. It's not just a bot token that you paste into a config file, right? There's probably a whole process. Ventrilo was better. I will fight you. I will fight you. I tried Ventrilo. It was fine. I'm just a TeamSpeak fanboy. Oh, I loved TeamSpeak. I might set up another TeamSpeak server. Screw it. Who wants a TeamSpeak server? I haven't been in a voice chat with other people online in years. Literally years. I guess having a kid kinda does that to you, but not to everyone. I really should get back into the whole Discord stuff. Alright, folks, before we dig into this amplifier board, take a brief intermission. We will be right back. All right. Yeah, I bought that, it just posts for me when I go live. Because I guess YouTube notifications aren't very reliable. Which is really ironic because they specifically put a button on there to notify people when someone makes a new upload or goes live. And then I get people complaining to me that they don't get notified. If I'm not mistaken, I think I've had people unsubscribe from me over it. And it's like, what can I do about it? I guess I could, set up a Discord bot, but then, that's an extra step for you too. You can't make everyone happy. I'm here to make the people that want to be happy, happy. And if you don't want to be happy, I can't help you. Don't bother going to therapy if you're not going to listen to them, right? If you're just going to show up and go, psh, that's not going to work. Psh. Therapy is something I'm too poor to understand. Damn, I'm sorry. Therapy put me in collections. Therapy ruined my credit score. I was like 15 or 16 years old or something like that. And my parents made me go to therapy. And I was going there for, I think, a year or two. And then I stopped going because I didn't want to go. I wasn't getting anything out of it. Didn't really like the guy. And what I didn't know was one of my last sessions, my parents didn't pay for it. I guess my mom expected my dad to pay for it. My dad was, busy getting into trouble, doing whatever he was doing. So, 17-year-old Nick gets put into collections for a therapy appointment that he never wanted to go to in the first place. And I didn't know until I checked my credit report a few years later, starting to actually care about my credit, What a great way to start my credit history by having nothing other than $120 collections. Jeez, almost needed therapy for that alone. These days I just throw broken hard drives across the street and drag computers behind my car for therapy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was doing that plenty as a kid, too. Probably more than I do these days. I'm getting old. Oh. I've got a pending friend request on Discord. Is this a legit account? Streamer mode enabled. Well, I don't wanna... I wanna see the person's info. Yeah, forget it. I'll just accept it. One mutual server. What server would that be? That doesn't look good. Yeah, I can't see what mutual server they are from. Because I'm a streamer mode. Oh. Oh. Well. I'll have to look into that. That makes me not feel good. I guess someone that fixes HomePods has been acting a little sketchy. Man, I hate to see this. Well, okay, a few months ago, actually, hold up, a few years ago, back when we first started offering HomePod repair services, there was no one else to public knowledge offering repair services, so we were the first ones there. And then once we started figuring out how to fix these things and publishing that info, other people started hopping on the bandwagon. Yeah, it's easy money. It's a little bit of work, but it's easy money. And I started adding people to my list, to my website, from people around the world offering repairs. Because my goal isn't to make a bunch of money here. If I wanted to make a bunch of money, I could charge twice as much as I do for my repairs now, and you know, we'd be golden. But I can't do that with a. I can't do that. That just doesn't sit right with me. well, like one of the reasons why I wanted to start offering this repair service was to offer people a reasonable, compelling option to keep this stuff out of the landfill. I don't want you sending it back to Apple because they don't repair any of them. They recycle all of them. And recycling is the least efficient of the three things that we should be doing: reduce, reuse, recycle. You need to reduce as much first because that's going to be the most effective. Reusing is going to be more effective than recycling. But in any case, I started compiling a list of other people around the world to offer that were willing to offer repair services for HomePods. And there was this, I'm not going to drop any names here, because I don't want, I don't want to be that guy. But I'll tell you the story form of things, and if if it concerns you, you can do your research and figure it out. But anyways, there was one guy that I had on there. He was actually the first on that list of worldwide people offering repairs. And they were based in the UK. And for a while, for like almost 2 years, they were doing great. We kept in touch every once in a while, and I never heard any complaints from them. And it's not like I necessarily it's not like I do much more than a couple of sanity checks if somebody asks to be thrown up there. But I do say, use at your own risk. I don't provide any guarantees or promises for any of these folks. Use it at your own risk. And I guess one of those guys had started getting a little slippy. They aren't super communicative anymore. They'll hang on to people's HomePods for weeks at a time without communicating. And I can understand, certain circumstances in life getting in the way and repairs taking longer than usual. But it's critical that you keep in touch with people. More often than not, people are going to be totally fine with waiting and hanging out and just hanging tight if you keep a pulse with them. And I'm not perfect at it. I used to be on top of my game. You wouldn't wait longer than an hour for a reply from me, no matter how you tried to reach me, whether it was from work or for personal stuff. I looked forward to communicating and responding to people. But frankly, I got quite burned out by my day job. And even today, anytime I get any kind of notification, it's almost freaking, it's like a slight anxiety bump or minor stress, because like I'm worried about like what's it gonna be, how much of my time is about to get sucked away trying to fix this thing here. And I'm not even talking about HomePods. I'm talking about like my day job, life stuff, But anyways, back to the whole people being weird fixing these things. It was unfortunate for them and also for me, because not only did they start to kind of lose their reputation, but it impacted my reputation too, because people started leaving comments, like, don't trust this guy, or like, I haven't heard from this guy for weeks, or whatever. And they were all talking about this other guy in the UK. They had no idea that, yeah, their name is on my website, but that's something for you to look into. That's not me wholeheartedly sanctioning and guaranteeing their work and their repair with you. And then I got a message on Discord. That's where this whole story came out from, is I just got a Discord message from somebody saying that another person that offers HomePod repairs in America, I'm not going to name names again, but there's an outfit in America offering HomePod repairs that's pulling some shady shit too. They're going around acting as not themselves, you know, pretending to be like other people, suggesting their business to get their HomePod fixed. And that kind of stings. I didn't do all this. I didn't figure all this out. Blood, sweat, tears, and literal thousands of dollars down the drain, breaking things to figure out how to fix these things and share the info, just so somebody else could try to compete and do it unethically. And what sucks is, like, I've been suggesting these people to folks, like, not for HomePod repairs, but they sell refurbished HomePods too. And people email me all the time, like, hey, can I buy a refurbished HomePod from you, you know, like with your warranty and your maintenance and all that? And I don't like selling refurbished HomePods. I don't like selling HomePods at all. I'd rather keep the parts so that I can be prepared to fix whatever shows up. And so I can accrue my ultimate goal of 500 HomePods. But I have been recommending people that email me to buy HomePods from these folks instead of mine, because I don't want to sell them. I don't want to sell mine. I'll sell them to you, but please buy them from somewhere else first. And I'm kind of shaken up right now because, like I said, I've been telling people to buy their HomePods, and now it turns out they don't seem to be the most ethical outfit. So,
I'm having trouble.
Jeez.
I'm
not gonna name any names. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. I'm sure the karma will sort it out. Let's see. We now have Adam's HomePod. Adam with no power. And then we've got Michael after that. So let's see here. Let's shoot Michael a message, so they've got plenty of time to hop in before we get to it. And now we can look at Adam's. No lights, no power, no nothing. A couple of watts at the wall. Did I text this fellow already? I think I did. Okay. Oh, I'm getting thirsty. Cheers, folks. Anything new in Nickland? Well, I guess that's one thing. This is one hell of a Monday. Oh, what else? Oh, yes. I did remember something very fun and interesting. So, I don't know if you've heard of the SingCell Alpha before. It's that $2,500 to $3,000 smart speaker. The wife just pulled into the driveway. Hang tight, folks. Take another quick break. I'm gonna help her bring stuff in and we'll be right back at it. Alright, we are back. Thank you folks for waiting. I appreciate each and every single 10 of you for waiting. Kenneth, welcome, welcome. I did not know HomePod repair was a market. It was not 2 or 3 years ago when we started all of this. And I will proudly proclaim that if it were not for me, there may not have been a HomePod repair market. I mean, maybe somebody else would have stepped up and figured all of this out, but at the time that I took this all up and figured it all out, people had the wrong idea. They thought it was either unfixable or unfixable. And if you could get it apart, you couldn't find any replacement parts because it was all proprietary. And that was one of my primary motivators to starting a repair service like this, was proving people wrong. People were like, oh, you can't fix this, you can't find replacement parts. To me, that's just That says I in my head I'm like I bet you I can figure that out.
Random question. Can
What?
I see your tiny UV
You are in luck. It's in my pocket.
light? This should change color with UV light. Where's the button?
It's on the back.
Oh my god, it works!
Ooh. Like my filament.
Yeah. It's a thinking putty.
Do I ever regret showing and teaching so much? Absolutely
I
not.
never regret teaching people things.
No. Like the thing is no matter how much I teach and show people how to do it themselves, there's always going to be a market out there for people that would rather just pay to have it done for them.
Yep.
And I didn't think that completely for a while until I got my right-hand drive 300ZX and it needed maintenance, and I told myself I could do this myself. I've swapped a dozen motors and a transmission or two in my Z31. What's a couple more cams and half as much space, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I really didn't have the time to do all of that, so I opted to take it to a specialty shop, literally named after the car that I'm trying to get worked on, to do the preventative maintenance for me, to save myself the time. I paid out the ass for it too. And maybe this isn't really helping my point here, but I ended up getting absolutely screwed by them because they didn't do the job well, and it ended up blowing the motor up because of their negligence. On the bright side, they did accept responsibility and actually completely rebuilt the motor again, but it turned around and blew up again. So what can you do aside from, you know, figuring out how to do everything yourself, or hoping and praying that who you're paying is actually a good, honest, legitimate professional and not just somebody that's trying to get by with the least amount of work possible for the most amount of money. So no, I absolutely do not regret showing and teaching what we do here. Cause my goal isn't to make money. It is, you know, I would be lying if I said that I would want to like do this for free. Like I gotta, this takes time. It takes effort. I got a wife and kid and other things to do, so when you get so many people that want the same thing done, you do have to start charging and collecting some sort of compensation for that. When it was a one-off thing that we offered for people 3+ years ago, I was actually offering to do this for free for folks, just to try to get my, establish that reputation, get some trust out there, show that something like this is really possible. And then you've got, I absolutely do not mind at all if you want to start a business off of, my information. But I guess, do it ethically. Be like a freaking, have a little more respect than that. And at least give me and David some credit. Oh, that's hilarious. Are you serious? Okay. I'll play your games. No, on the theme of things, I can't even do so much as offer a box and packing materials without someone knocking that off too, I guess. What the heck? There's no problem with that. I think that's funny. I offer for an extra $15, I'll send you a box and packing material and tape and a pre-printed return label so you can send your HomePod in. Because the whole reason why I started offering shipping included in my repairs, goodness, let me tell you about that. At the very beginning, I only offered repairs if you shipped it in. If you found a way to ship it in to me. You know, you'd get a free repair, but you'd have to pay for shipping. That was to establish a reputation, that was to gain trust, and that was to gain experience and get confident enough to actually charge people money for these repairs. And once I got to that point, for a while, I was charging people for, I was charging people $60 or $70 for a repair, not including shipping both ways. And then I kept noticing people having to pay $20, $30, in some cases $40 to ship a single HomePod to me one way. So you're talking $30-$40 one way, plus my $60 repair, plus another $30-$40 to ship it back to you. Like, these people were including a return label in the box. These people were showing up to UPS with the HomePod naked in their hands and going, ship this to this guy, I'll pay whatever it takes. And they'll pay for the box, they'll pay for the packing, they'll pay for the label, they'll pay for a return label inside so that way when I'm done with it, I can just use their label and send it back to them. But it would end up costing these people $40 to $80 just in shipping. And it did not sit right with me that people kept paying more for shipping than my repairs. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to start including the shipping both ways in my repairs. I'm not going to change the price of the repair. And if you want, I'll even beat them on the box and packing material. I'll send you a box and packing material for $15, and I'll put a couple of pieces of tape in there for you too. And that also came from I was walking through the grocery store and I needed some bubble wrap in a box like there and now for someone's HomePod. I had ran out of boxes and I was overdue to send this guy's HomePod back. And the freaking grocery store, I mean, to be fair, it is a grocery store, but they wanted like $30 for bubble wrap and another $10 for a box. And I could legitimately, for 20 bucks, I could get a pack of 25 boxes off Amazon. For another 10 bucks, I can get a roll of honeycomb packing paper, and it's literally pennies for me to print the label on some label paper and stick that in the box and send it to you. How I change and how I run my business is driven by how can I make this the best option for you without making myself go insane trying to do it for everyone, right? If I'm compensated fairly enough, I'll work as hard as I need to. But these guys seem to be operating on how can we make the most money possible with the least amount of effort. And that upsets me when you take my hard work and you try to make money the easy way from it. If you want to make money off my work and you want to give me credit for it, by all means. But to make it look like you're the guy that started it all, you're the guy to go to, and then to go around and make fake accounts and promote your business as if you're a customer or just a random user commenting, passing by, when you're actually the owner? That is Oh, it gets deeper. Oh, this might be its own. This might be this might be a dedicated, like, YouTube video. Oh, I might have to make a video. Oh, I can't make a video on this. I don't even want to name the guy. Like, as shady as they might be, I don't want to sit there and, like, I don't know. I will say do your own research before you give your money or product to somebody else and trust them. Because it doesn't look like it took this guy much work to figure this out. Yeah. I'll message you back after, the stream. Have I ever watched the Save It for Parts channel? I absolutely love them. Yes, yes, yes. Kenneth, a box. Yes, a box. You'd be surprised. I have had people send these HomePods into me in a literal plastic bag. And I hate to see it. Surprisingly, the one that was sent in a plastic bag survived. But I don't want people sending them in plastic bags. They probably won't survive. And a $15 box in packing material with a label in there for you to send it in to me is going to be way cheaper than what FedEx or UPS will want to charge you to pack and ship your HomePod for you. That's so funny. Oh my god. Nick's posts be like, here's a custom USB adapter to restore your HomePod and get USB AirPlay and get into it. Meanwhile, the other guys. We are now offering a $15 box and packing. Are you affiliated with Lewis? Not at all. I am not affiliated with anyone. I have watched plenty of Louis Rossmann. I would consider myself a fan. I used to be huge into. I used to watch his stuff all the time, and then he started talking about stuff other than repairs and right to repair, and that's when I stopped watching him as much. But I watch. I liked Louis Rossmann. I like Northridge Fix. Electronics Fix. Who else? EV Blog. Hugh Jeffries. Hugh Jeffries doesn't do too much. Oh, it's actually kind of cringe watching him do any kind of like electronics repair beyond a screen or battery replacement. Whenever he breaks out the soldering iron, I'm almost like yelling at my TV. Like, no, please, oh, just, oh. Oh, I want to help him so bad. But nobody even knows I exist yet. I am a relatively insignificant YouTuber still. Oh, my main goal is to blow up and fix everybody's shit. Oh, that'd be so cool. I just have like, oh man. Like I have freaking celebrities reaching out to me to fix their stuff. Like they don't want to go to, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. I want to fix the stuff that no one else wants to fix. And I want to be the person that everybody wants to get their stuff fixed by. And I think being able to watch your stuff get fixed, it's just such a simple, easy thing to do, but such a huge value add for people. Like when I was a kid and my parents would take us to the tire shop or the mechanic, I thought it was the coolest thing ever that you could watch your car get worked on. Why isn't it the same for anything else? Why can't we trust, and especially with cars, really? We can, there are repair shops for automotives out there that will live stream your car's repair, but sending in your personal electronic device that's got your passwords, all of your personal data on there, these things aren't that secure. A nefarious person could absolutely take your HomePod and dump all of your personal data. They've got your passwords, they've got your Wi-Fi, they've got it. And I think it's absolutely wild. Even if it's something that you can't fix in a single sitting, that people trust other people with their stuff to send it in and get it fixed completely blind. Bonkers. Would I buy one of Hugh Jeffries' refurbs? Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And it wouldn't be for any functional reason. It would just be purely because I'm a huge fan of his. I love his work. He's got a very, very nice and tasteful and professional production style. He's got the right, like, state of mind. Like, he's in the right spot. I can trust, like, I get the right kind of vibes watching Hugh Jeffrey work on stuff. Like, I could trust him with my stuff. I have trust issues, though. That's why I try to figure out how to fix everything myself, because I can't trust anybody to fix my own stuff. Every time I've paid somebody else to do something for me, it's gone awry. Alright.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Yes, yes. Volume buttons light up nice and evenly. Very good, very good. Let's get that set to the side. And let's grab a Michael's HomePod. Where's Michael's HomePod? There it is. I started to freak out for a second there. I wasn't sure where we were at. So we've got Michael's. After that, we've got pH. Which one is that? Let's try to get them notified. Folks, give me 1 second. pH. Who the heck? Oh, I think I know who that is. Yeah, okay. Let's shoot them a message so they've got time to join in. Let's get the info on the screen updated. There we go. And let's see how we are looking here on Michael's HomePod. We've got a couple of watts of power draw. Aside from that, no lights, no power, no nothing. We all know what's next. Let's dig in. Would you, how do you know to align the volume screen properly? Ah, that is an excellent question. I give you some tips. I have a dedicated how to fix your HomePod for no power video guide. It kind of gives you some tips on how to line that display back up as you set it down. It's a bit of experience and a bit of just lining it up right, and I'll show you what I mean here. So when you want to stick this back down, go ahead and get the volume buttons perpendicular to you, so you've got the plus up there and you've got the minus close to you like this. Try to get that as straight as possible. And then you're going to take your top here and you're going to put the plus here and the minus here. And you see this lip right here, right where the mesh starts to go into the plastic. You're going to set the lid in there just like that, so that you've kind of got like a hinge, a place to hinge this on. And you're going to line up these two volume buttons here. And as you set this down, you're going to keep these two straight and lined up. And that's really about all there is to it. You're going to set that down as level as you can. And it's not going to be perfectly centered, just like that. You're going to need to come back looking straight down, and you're going to see here that it's a little off. So you're just going to shove it over there until it looks from the top down as centered as it can get. There is no 100% guaranteed, here's how you do it. It's easy peasy way to do it. It's kind of just, you have to get the experience, and sometimes you just kind of have to try again. I don't get it perfect every time. Sometimes I have to go back and peel it off and do it again. And I double check before I ship a HomePod back out that the volume buttons are nice and lined up. I have had to, actually this morning, there was a different Michael, and I had to take the plastic back off and realign it. But once you get the feel for it, you tend to get it more often than not. In addition to that, you can't have anything covering the volume buttons. Like, the adhesive tends to get real stringy and string across the volume buttons, so you got to keep those nice and unobstructed. And I'm talking about on the bottom here, like right there and there. Adhesive tends to stick to those parts, and it will look unevenly lit. A little bit of rubbing alcohol to break down the speaker basket's adhesive. $15 watching, yeah, that's not bad. I think, 15 HomePods, 15 people watching. Glad you're all here. What is it with the holidays and I personally, I'm surprised yet again that the holiday season has been the busiest time for us. I would think people have so much other things to spend their money on right now, like getting gifts and stuff. The last thing they want to do is spend money fixing their own speaker. But I am mistaken. Last Monday we had 14 in one day. We had 7 more show up the day after that. Today we had another 14 show up plus 1 on Saturday, so we had 15 waiting to get fixed. I mean, on average, like a typical summer day, for example, we would see, 2 to 4 in a day. What's been the biggest basket case HomePod so far? Oh, I have a short on my YouTube channel. It was one that I had bought for myself, and it had looked like one of the big juicy capacitors on the power supply had leaked everywhere inside, and it caused, obviously it stopped turning on, but from the outside it looked like a perfectly normal HomePod. So I thought I was getting myself into another standard no power repair like you see here, where we just take it apart, replace the diode, and call it good. No. This thing was cursed. It was completely, the whole amplifier board had corrosion everywhere. The power supply had corrosion everywhere. The thing is that the big electrolytic capacitor right here had exploded and leaked its juice everywhere, and that stuff's really corrosive. So it corroded, and then it oxidized, and it looked gross. If you search my YouTube channel for Massacre, you'll find it. But it's in my YouTube shorts. All right. Before we fix this guy up, I'm going to step away for just a moment. Okay. Joseph! Welcome back! Oh man, where would I be without my lurker? Welcome back. I hope your holidays are treating you right. I hope things are winding down for you and you're able to manage your days. So before we actually fix the power problem with this particular pod, we are going to give it some new DC filters. I rambled about this a bit at the start of our stream, but we've got quite a few more people watching now, so I figured might as well give them another round of it. These filters tend to go bad over time. They naturally age, whether they age and they decay whether you're using them or not, as a matter of fact. And what this results in is all sorts of bass issues and the death farts. So we like to stay ahead of those issues. The thing I hate the most about HomePod repairs is getting the one that I've already fixed back. So we're gonna get those death fart filters replaced. And then we'll flip it around and take care of that actual power problem. Alright, apparently I haven't had enough to drink yet. Cheers, folks. Alright. Now we should be good. Alright. And now I bet you 46K. Oh, I didn't even have time to finish it. I was gonna say 46K or 48K. Those are the two date codes on these diodes that continue to fail. We've seen all sorts of date codes on these diodes, newer and older than this, but we've fixed enough of these to establish the fact that it's only a particular date range of these diodes that fails. So even though we're replacing it with a brand new diode, that should by itself prevent the problem from happening again. We're going to replace it with a slightly higher rated diode that's also held to higher manufacturing standards, so that we are absolutely sure this doesn't happen again. Like I said, the number one thing I hate about working on these things is getting one that I've already worked on back. I love fixing these, but when someone's paid for it and then they have another issue with it, even if it has nothing to do with anything we worked on it, I feel bad. I don't want to be there, and I don't want them to be there. So we like to be as ahead of as possible everywhere we can. And what's funny is I keep forgetting that the bigger, better, newer, stronger version of this diode is also cheaper. So there really is no sense in, and this is a pro tip, if you're out there fixing these for yourself, do not pull this diode from another amplifier board. It won't work. Or if it does work, it probably won't for long, if it's got the 46K or 48K date code on it. If it doesn't, you're good to go. Replace those filters while you've got it apart, though. You don't want the death farts. How long do I expect this new diode to last? Well, I hope that answers your question. It will, in theory, it should last indefinitely. This diode that's failing and causing no power shouldn't be failing in the first place. The only reason it's dying, these things aren't known. They actually have a reputation for being rather reliable. They don't just fail. This isn't normal. This is really abnormal. I had a guy that lives near me with a broken HomePod that it was about a year ago. And we went back and forth for a few minutes, and when I mentioned that not only was it a shorted Schottky barrier diode, but that I've seen this many times, by now thousands of times, thousands. And I told that to him, and he was like, "There's no way. I'm an electronics engineer. I work with these things on a daily basis. I've never seen this kind of failure in a Schottky diode. It's not normal." And I said, "I know, right?" So it's not just me, it's not just you. These things should last a lot longer than they are. But on the bright side, if you're willing to pay us for our time, we'll do what we can to make it last as long as possible for you. Like for example, if you've already paid for us to work on a HomePod, and we only offer a 1-year warranty, but that's just that's the industry standard. I don't want to offer too much and have everybody expect that 4 years down the road they can hit me up after they've thrashed their HomePod every single day, that I'm gonna replace every single board inside of it and the subboard, that I'm gonna basically replace the whole speaker for you. No. It's a 1-year warranty, and I am absolutely happy to work with you if anything happens outside of that, though. Once I've done all the hard stuff, the hardest part is getting it open the first time. Once it's been opened the first time, it's easier to get in after that. And if you've already paid for my time, I don't want to make you pay for it again, even if it's been a few years. I'm willing to work with you. If I've worked with you before. I need to add like a warranty page to my website, because right now my warranty is pretty much, hit me up if anything goes wrong. I'll cover it within a year. If it's been longer than that, we'll work it out. But I think on paper it would be really cool, and it would be setting a good precedent to hopefully inspire other repair shops and other, maybe one day, bigger businesses and companies out there to do the same thing, but to not just offer like a 1-year warranty. Whatever happens, I'll help you out. But after that, since we've already worked with you, since I've already worked on this thing, if anything goes wrong after that year, I'm not going to charge you full price to do something else. I did my best effort to keep that going for as long as possible, and I wouldn't be charging money for these repairs if I didn't think they weren't going to last for more than a few years. I'm fully expecting these to last at least 7 to 10 more years before anything goes wrong. At that point, I have a plan B. It'll be a stage 2. Because people love their speakers. And Apple designed these to not just be a great functioning speaker, but rather aesthetically pleasing too. It's fantastic that you can just place it anywhere in your room, and it not only sounds good, but it looks good too. They put a lot of thought and effort into that. And as like a stage 2, you know, when it gets to the point where the software's been no longer supported on these, they no longer get updates. Sure, they work as is, but you're looking to add a little more future-proofing support. You want auxiliary in, you want Bluetooth, you want whatever's here in the next 5 or 10 years. I'm thinking of what kind of amplifier can I stuff into this in a few years from now that anybody else can buy off the shelf and fix or replace themselves, that I can offer as an upgrade service for people that want to keep the aesthetic and functionality of the original HomePod with some significant upgrades like Bluetooth, auxiliary in, while keeping the key features that attracted people like myself to them in the first place, like AirPlay 2 multi-room audio support. It just sounds great, and the real-time audio correction where you place it, it just works so well. I could go on and on. But that's the long-term picture with HomePods, at least. As far as Nick's fix is concerned, I'm thinking of I'm already thinking of what can I fix next? What does everybody have that they can't get fixed, and how can I help with that? And much alike how I got into HomePod repairs, how I can figure that out is just looking at what I use and what I struggle with on my own personal day-to-day basis. In an alternate reality, I would be starting my own company making products. You know, basically putting flagships to shame. I would absolutely undercut Samsung and Apple with the next best phone, the next best smart speaker thing. And what I would, it's easier said than done. I'll acknowledge that, but I can still dream of it. I still want to start my own open hardware product company where we develop, manufacture, and sell just absolutely, undeniably the best product in its class. And I mean, I'm one of these people, but you have all these people out there that are like, why is this thing so expensive? Why is it so irreparable? Why this, that, and the other thing? Why can't it do this or that? Well, then why don't you make it yourself? That's what I want to do. I want to make that stuff that has no excuses, that's as reasonably repairable as it can get, that's absolutely, it just destroys the competition in price and performance. And I'm not talking about value, although that's going to be the biggest point. I'm talking about raw, like it will outperform the best, and it'll still be cheaper. Straight up. But that's alternate reality. That's big dreaming. Like, I'm imagining directly competing with like Apple and Samsung with that kind of stuff, and that's whew. I'll stick to fixing their stuff for now, at least. Alright. We've got Michael all fixed up. Let's see.
I'm having trouble connecting to the.
Alright. Folks, that is about all that I've got the time and energy for here and now. I am getting real hungry. It's been one of those Mondays, so I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair. Hopefully I can get this kid to sleep and maybe we can fix the rest of these up here tonight. In any case, hope you all enjoyed and I'll catch you in the next one.